Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our Sunday Feast program. We're streaming live from ISKCON, Ottawa, the residence of their Lordship Sri Sri Gaura Nitai. And we're very happy that you are all here to join us today. My name is Krishna Dulal Das, and I will be your partial MC for this evening. And maybe before we continue, I'm going to ask to see if there's anybody here joining us for the first time for a Sunday program. If you wanted to either speak up or raise your hand to let us know. Most of the devotees have been here before, so welcome back, everyone. We have a special guest speaker joining us today, and I'm going to ask our very own Mother Yeshika if she would kindly do the introduction. Over to you, Mother Yeshika.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, welcome to our Sunday Feast program. As Krishna Dulal Prabhu said, we have a very special guest speaker, His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardana Swami Maharaj. Maharaj is a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And even as a teen in his native home, the Philippines, he was always interested in spiritual topics like yoga, meditation, and reincarnation. And when he was around 14 to 15 years old, he first came in contact with Srila Prabhupada's books like Perfection of Yoga, Easy Journey to Other Planets, and some other Back to Godhead magazines. In 1980, Maharaj immigrated to Canada in Toronto, where after 4 years, when he visited the ISKCON Toronto temple for the first time, he was really inspired by the very spiritually conducive environment and decided to move into the temple, where he became secretary and became an active book distributor. In 1987, when he first visited India, he also went to Sri Vrindavan Dham and was really attracted by the spiritual potency there. And after visiting a couple more times, in 2002, he eventually permanently moved there. In 2014, Maharaj took the sannyas order and he took charge of the brahmacharis and helped coordinating festivals in the Dham. He is also the vice president of the Krishna Balram Mandir. Additionally, Maharaj is a very expert Mridanga player. He loves the congregational chanting of the holy name and is always very eager to help other devotees in their spiritual journeys, which is why he regularly travels to Canada, the USA, Russia, as well as the Philippines. So once again, I'd like to welcome His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardana Swami Maharaj and hand it over to him. Hare Krishna.
Welcome, Maharaj. And I believe, Maharaj, you're joining us for the second time. You joined us a few months back on Zoom. So we're so pleased to have you back with us. Thank you for joining us.
Hare Krishna. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes. Okay. So, yes, very thankful, grateful to all of you for giving me the privilege and honor to speak once again for the devotees in Ottawa congregation. The deity is very beautiful, Sisi Gornitai, very merciful. We spent some time there as well many years ago when I used to live in Toronto. So let me see now here, start my video. Can you see me again? Somehow the video went away.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
We see you.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to start chanting Radha Madhava, Jaya Radha Madhava, and then we'll go to the verse, very special verse for today. It explains the mood of the devotee. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Praja Jana Sandana Yasodhanandana Praja Jana Sandana Munatira Vanachati Yamunatira Vanachati Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Braja Janardana Yasodhanandana Braja Janardana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Little itchy throat because of the weather here. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Vishwari Prabhupada Saitanya Prakasha Bhatiracha Pacharangi Devan Sadhu Bhagatpati Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I have something for my throat. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, Text number 9. Swasti astu Vishvasya Kala Prasidatam Jayayanto Bhutani Shivam Mitodiya Manascha Vadrang Bhajatad Adokshaje Abhishyatam no Matir Api Ahituki Swasti astu Vishvasya Kala Prasidatam Jayanto Bhutani Shivam Mitodiya Manascha Vadrang Bhajatad Adokshaje Abhishyatam no Matir Api Ahituki. The synonyms, word for word meaning. Swasti, auspiciousness. Ashtu, let there be. Vishvasya, of the entire universe. Kala, the envious, almost everyone. Prasidatam, let them be pacified. Jayantu, let them consider. Bhutani, all the living entities, Shivam, auspiciousness, Nitaha, mutual, Diya, by their intelligence, Manaha, the mind, Cha, and Badram, calmness, Bhajatat, let it experience, Adoksaje, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond the perception of mind, intelligence, and senses, Aveshyatam, let it be absorbed, Naha, our Marti, intelligence, Api, indeed, Ahaituki, without any motive. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing Bhakti Yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. Purport. The following verse describes a Vaishnava. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripashindubhya evacha patitanang pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Just like a desire tree, a Vaishnava can fulfill all the desires of anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Prahlad Maharaj is a typical Vaishnava. He prays not for himself, but for all living entities. The gentle, the envious, and the mischievous. He always thought of the welfare of mischievous persons like his father, Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj did not ask for anything for himself. Rather, he prayed for the Lord to execute his demoniac father. This is the attitude of a Vaishnava who always thinks of the welfare of the entire universe. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Dharma are meant for persons who are completely free from envy, Parama Nirmatsaranam. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays in this verse, Kala Prasidatam. May all the envious persons be pacified. The material world is full of envious persons, but if one frees himself of envy, he becomes liberal in his social dealings and can think of others' welfare. Anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness and engages himself completely in the service of the Lord cleanses his mind of all envy. Manascha Bhadrang Bhajatat Adokshaje. Therefore, we should pray to Lord Nishingadev to sit in our hearts. We should pray, Bahir Nishingho Hidaye Nishingha. Let Lord Nishingadev sit in the core of my heart, killing all my bad propensities. Let my mind become clean so that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire world. Srila Biswanath Chakrabarti Thakur has given us a very fine purport in this regard. Whenever one offers a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one always requests some benediction from Him. Even pure Niskama devotees pray for some benediction, as instructed by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Sikshastakam. Ainang datanujakin karang patitamang vishame babam budao Kripaya tava pada pankaja stita dulisa dirsam vichintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. In another prayer, Lord Chaitanya says, Manma Janmani Janmanisvari Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahaitukhi Tvayi. Life after life, kindly let me have unalloyed love and devotion at your Lordship's lotus feet. When Prahlad Maharaj chants Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya, he prays for a benediction from the Lord, but because he is also an exalted Vaishnava, he wants nothing for his personal sense gratification. The first desire expressed in his prayer is Swasti Astu Vishvasya. Let there be good fortune throughout the entire universe. Prahlad Maharaj thus requested the Lord to be merciful to everyone, including his father, a most envious person. According to Chanakya Pandit, there are two kinds of envious living entities. One is a snake, and the other is the man like Hiranyakashipu, who is by nature envious of everyone, even of his father or son. Hiranyakashipu was envious of his little son Prahlad, but Prahlad Maharaj asked a benediction for the benefit of his father. Hiranyakashipu was very envious of devotees, but Prahlad wished that his father and other demons like him would give up their envious nature by the grace of the Lord and stop harassing the devotees. Kala Pashidatam. The difficulty is that the Kala, envious living entity, is rarely pacified. One kind of Kala, the snake, can be pacified simply by mantras or by the action of a particular herb. Mantro sadhibasha sarpa kalakena nivariyate. An envious person, however, cannot be pacified by any means. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that all envious persons may undergo a change of heart and think of the welfare of others. If the Krishna consciousness movement spreads all over the world, and if by the grace of Krishna everyone accepts it, the thinking of envious people will change. Everyone will think of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays Shivang Mitodiya. In material activities, everyone is envious of others, but in Krishna consciousness, no one is envious of anyone else. Everyone thinks of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that everyone's mind may become gentle by being fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. Bhajatad Adokshaje. As indicated elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shavai Mana Krishna Padarabindayo. And as advised by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 1865, Manmana Baba Madbhakto. One should constantly think of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then one's mind will certainly be cleansed. Chetu Darpana Marjanam. Materialists always think of sense gratification, but Prahlad Maharaj prays that the Lord's mercy will change their minds and they will stop thinking of sense gratification. If they think of Krishna always, everything will be all right. Some people argue that if everyone thought of Krishna in that way, the whole universe will be vacated because everyone would go back home, back to Godhead. However, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this is impossible because the living entities are innumerable. If one set of living entities is actually delivered by the Krishna consciousness movement, another set will fill the entire universe. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, chapter 18, uh, text number 9. Amagyanantimirandasya gyanangana shalakaya chakshurmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Shajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Shindo Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopiga Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishpari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranavami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kipasindhuvyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again the verse Swasyasto Vishvashakala Prasidatam Dayanto Bhutani Shibhang Nipodiya Manascha Vadhrang Vajatad Adokshaje Avishyatang no Matir Ati Ahaituki. Very wonderful, big heart prayer of Prahlad Maharaj here is just introducing us into the ideal bhakti, the process of bhakti yoga as explained in the Shastras, like Srimad Bhagavatam, considered as Bhakti Shastra, of course. In Srimad Bhagavatam, considered as the universal book. Everyone who's in a different level of their adhikar or their capacity or level of Krishna consciousness, spiritual advancement, they can pursue ultimately to attain pure bhakti. So this prayer is a prayer of pure bhakti. The process of devotional service, as one makes progress, it just continue on increasing all the time. So devotional service is not like linear. It's not one straight line. It's a straight line also, but at the same time it's increasing. It's not like levels, so to speak. So yes, there are different levels of pure devotional service, and it just becomes more and more intense. The intensity goes to the highest level, especially to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the Brajabasis, and the Maharaj, Mother Yasoda, the Gopas, and ultimately it is highlighted, especially in the loving sentiment of the cowherd girlfriends, milkmaids of Vrindavan. So yes, bhakti is a very good ideal. And however, according to the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, one should come to the platform of ahaituki bhakti. Ahaituki means without any self-motivation. Everything else, if it's done without that goal of becoming pure devotee or coming to the platform of pure devotional service, will not satisfy the person or the devotee. As even in third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam also explains that like there are three types of bhakti. There is the modes of nature, like goodness, passion, and ignorance. But then there is what you call Vishuddha Tattva or Vishuddha topmost, unalloyed, pure devotional service. So here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we're in the part where the inhabitants of Jambudvip, they're praying unto the Supreme Lord. And this prayer has been headed by Prahlad Maharaj, who is considered in Srimad Brihat Bhagavatam Brita by Srila Sanatana Goswami. It's like the story goes, there is this king. He wants to find out who is the most person who deserves the highest benediction from the Supreme Lord. And then he goes to different personalities like Brahmanas, and then he goes up to the demigods, and then it reached to Prahlad Maharaj. So even though the other demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra Dev, they cannot be compared to Prahlad Maharaj's bhakti. Even though we've heard Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, that Lord Shiva is the topmost Vaishnava, but in this story that the different levels of devotees who is deserve the benediction, the reward, the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Sanatana Goswami mentions that only when Prahlad Maharaj met Narad Muni, and then he understood the purpose of seeking the nature of the Supreme Lord's pure devotional service. This level is like the entry level. This is like the what do you call this? The borderline. Only when one comes to this kind of mood of prayer that he attains pure devotional service. Yes. Because for the neophytes, they may think that, oh yes, they're already like very advanced, and others are less advanced than me. And bhakti that cannot be attained just by thinking that I am advanced. Bhakti, pure devotional service, can be obtained by following the process. It's like in the Nectar of Instruction, the first verse, that when Srila Rupa Goswami says, we have to control the six urges. We have to control the intolerant, be tolerant of this urges to speak, the mind's demands, the action of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he commented on this, that for the householders, especially for the householders who want to enter in the renounced order of life, they must curtail all of these 6 urges. Then they can pursue uh, in that status of being renowned. So yes, um, in the Shrimad Bhagavatam, there is a story of Kardama Muni, whom he's performing so much austerity. And ultimately, when the Lord appeared and he asked what benediction you wish to have, Kardama Muni just asked the Supreme Lord that I would like to marry very good wife, ideal wife, uh, whom will be able to fulfill all of my desires, like Kamadenu. But in any case, this prayer of Prahlad Maharaj is in a mood of pure devotee. And this level of Krishna consciousness, of pure bhakti, starts with Prahlad Maharaj's prayer. This is just the initial prayer, and then whatever follows will be more of the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. So yes, nothing can fulfill one's desires to be satisfied unless his desire is only to please the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Everything else is a waste of time. Srama hi eva kevalam. No one can be happy or satisfied without bhakti. Even the post of King Indra. King Indra is the king of the demigods. And it says that in the Brihat Bhagavatamrita, he is always afraid. In bhakti, there is no fear. He is fearless because he understands Krishna is the ultimate protector of everyone. So yes, pure devotees doesn't think of himself. The pure devotees always think of the welfare of others. His prayer is that let everyone be happy. I don't mind, even if I go to hell. Who is that devotee also? Vasudeva Datta? Yes, he asked Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let everyone go back to the spiritual world and let me suffer. I'll take all of their karma. This is like Prahlad Maharaj, like that. He doesn't mind. He doesn't mind because he's being asked by Lord Nrsimhadev after Lord Nrsimhadev killed his father. He asked, what kind of benediction you wish? And he says, I don't want any benediction from you. He says, no, you must ask. But he says, no, because if I ask something, then our dealings will be just like mercantile business. If I give you this, I want this in return. No, Ahituki bhakti is like this. Nothing in return, only for Krishna. So a pure devotee, he wishes auspiciousness for everyone. He wants everyone to be happy. Either they are good or they are envious. The Prabhupada, he translated the Sanskrit word kalaha, the envious, and almost everyone, because that is the nature of this world. Srila Prabhupada says the main reason why we're still here in this material world is because we are envious. We are still envious of somebody. And ultimately, that envious mentality means we're envious of Krishna. That is the nature of this world. That's why we still keep repeating repeated birth, death, old age, and disease again and again and again. So yes, let them be pacified. Almost everyone. They're in the some countries which is like being ruled by under the communist regime. Just like in Russia, they have this Karl Marx. Is that Karl Marx? Huh? And they said he says that let everyone be happy. But then what the idea is that let us kill 50% of the people who are bad and let the 50% of the people remain alive. Because if we can get rid of the other 50%, then whoever the 50% who are good, then they'll be happy. But obviously, those other 50% who are good, they are still unhappy. Why? Because they have this desire within their hearts. And that is the cause of miseries, the contaminated heart, the heart being inflicted by the desire to enjoy. The result of desire is anger, frustration, envy, and greed, and so on. Because material desires cannot be fulfilled. It's like fulfilling material desires or trying to get rid of material desires. Like you have a fire and then you're just putting more petrol. It cannot be satisfied. It cannot be satiated. It's only when we desire only for the pleasure, service of the Supreme Lord, and always thinking of Him that we can be satisfied. It's like people, they feel some kind of happiness by performing some social welfare activities. May consider that as auspicious also, in a sense, because they want to do help others in the service of God. They think that by helping others, they're also serving God. So, but that doesn't really still satisfy them. They still become so frustrated. They're wishing auspiciousness. They're wishing good prosperity for others, but others, they're still not happy. So, yes, Kala means almost everyone is envious. So even though those who are in the mode of goodness, they still have a little tinge of material desires, which eventually, if it becomes unfulfilled, they become angry, more greed, more lust, and ultimately, it cannot pacify them. The hearts becomes more and more polluted. So that's why Srila Prabhupada, he commented that yes, it's not possible to be happy in this way. Now we have to be desireless. There is no way that we cannot have any desire. There's always having a desire. This is the symptom of the living entity. But the desire has to be properly channeled so that that desire is only for Krishna and no self-interest, no self-motivation, like 100%. And that is the topmost level. That is the highest. So yes, this lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, envy, this can be curtailed only if our desire is dovetailed only for Krishna. Yes, there is a subtle jealousy in everyone's heart, even if one attains a platform of goodness. That goodness is not good enough because it will not fulfill or satisfy one's self. So yes, it should be destroyed. It has to be destroyed. Even these subtle desires, especially for fame. Desires can be categorized materially, wealth, money, opulence, women, prestige. And the most difficult to give up is this desire to have his position, to remain in his position, prestige or fame. So yes, desire is good. Others, they have materialists, they say desire is good, but hate is bad. But actually, the hate or anger is the result of the misdirected desire. Misdirected desire means desire for one's own benefit. But here, Prahlad Maharaj is not asking for anything for himself. He's asking everyone be liberated, even his own father, who is envy personified. Hmm? Prabhupada mentions in the purport that there are two kinds of envious personalities. One kalaha, it means the snake, who is like without any, you just have to move, and then because the snake is a very envious entity, you'll bite. Hmm? But can be pacified by mantra or some herbs. But the person who is envious, there is no possible to be pacified unless he takes up to the process of Krishna consciousness. So automatically, hate, anger is there when the desire is there. It's like they're like brothers and sister. Like they're always together. Whenever there's material desires, anger, envy, jealousy, and all these things will be there. It invites all of these other unwanted desires. And only service to the Lord can be pacified, and one can become desireless. One can be pacified. So Prabhupada says here, yes, almost everyone. So Hiranyakashipu is like this. The meaning of Hiranyakashipu means bed, or Hiranyaksha. Kashipu means gold, or money and bed. So who doesn't like gold? Do you like to raise your hand? Who doesn't like gold? Especially now, they are big, like widespread, that the whole economy will crash. So money will be useless. And the only thing that will have value will be gold or silver or bitcoins. If you're a little bit like a big timer, you probably have like, you only need few bitcoins and then you'll be satisfied, right? No, wrong. You cannot be. It's like in that pastimes of Bali Maharaj and Vamana, right? Vamana only wants 3 steps of land, and then Bali Maharaj says, "What? You only want 3 steps of land? What is this?" And he's like a dwarf. Oh, what can you get in 3 steps of land? Like a 5-year-old, if he steps 3 steps, it's like, what can it cover? But Vamana says, a greedy person, you cannot satisfy him even if you give him the whole world. So who doesn't like a soft bed, especially in the winter time? Nice, huh? Nice to go in the bed for a long time, sleeping like 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, especially in the weekends. Who doesn't like? Everybody likes. So Prabhupada says, within our heart, we have this little Hiranyakashipu within us. This little Hiranyakashipu becomes, the more you feed that little Hiranyakashipu within our hearts, fulfilling those desires, then it becomes a full-blown Hiranyakashipu. You want to completely become like Hiranyakashipu. No, it's not possible. So how can there be auspiciousness in the whole world? Because Prabhupada, he in the translation, this swasti, the first word was used, swasti, auspiciousness. Then there is prasidatam, that is also auspiciousness, be pacified, let everyone be pacified. Shivam, yes, Shivam also, auspiciousness. And then Badram, Badram te, calmness. So fulfilling all of these desires or becoming desireless can only be fulfilled by desiring only for Krishna. Anything less than this is impure, is contaminated. And thus, all the unwanted desires will still creep in. So even those who are in the mode of goodness, there's still a little bit of subtle desires that should be curtailed or should be uprooted. And this can only be done, Prabhupada says, we should engage our mind in Krishna consciousness, perform devotional service. So in this, as we mentioned earlier in the beginning of this meeting, that the 6 urges, just even before we touch bhakti, we have to get rid of them. There's 6 urges. And this is not part of the angas or limbs of bhakti. This is like the result when one perform devotional service, starting by performing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, following rules and regulations, and then we'll come to the platform of Raganuga bhakti, spontaneous, and then coming to platform of Baba, and then ultimately Prema. That's the way how it goes. Then we can come even to the platform if somehow some of us is in that platform in the Gopi mood or in the mood of Nanda Maharaj or in the mood of the Gopas, that will be attained. So yes, we have to understand all of these things in 3 levels. We have to check our motives. Those who have aspiring for pure bhakti, we have to check our mental, physical, and our intelligence. The goal should be clear, not desiring anything else except bhakti for the pleasure of the Lord. Anyabilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anabitam anukulyena krishnanam shilanam bhaktir uttama. This is the topmost bhakti. If one continuously serve the Lord favorably without any tinge of material desires, which includes mental speculation and desire for material gain. Rejecting, it's like in that process of surrender to become pure, follow all of this, it'll manifest. Rejecting things which are unfavorable, accepting things which are favorable, knowingly that Krishna is the only protector, that he is the only one who will be able to give us protection. He's our only friend, giving up everything, Atma, Atma Nivedanam. And also, ultimately, these are the signs or symptoms of humility in order for one to surrender. So everyone can become a devotee of the Lord, even the non-envious. So how to do this? The whole world is trying to make peace, create peace, create a situation where everyone can be happy. And that's why this United Nations is been organized. But Prabhupada says United Nations, they're just increasing the flags, but amongst the countries, they are not together themselves. They're not actually getting along. is fighting, amongst each other, increasing the flags, but there is no unity. The whole world is in pandemic. World Health Organization. What is that? All the big countries of the world concerned about the health of everyone, but it's not fair. Other countries are getting first preference, and other countries, if you are belonging to a poor country, then you will get your vaccine later on. What if it's too late? Especially nowadays, there is a shortage of this. So the best thing actually is to spread Krishna consciousness. This will make the whole world auspicious. There's nothing else. Huh? There's nothing else that can make the whole world auspicious besides spreading Krishna consciousness. Have everyone give the opportunity to become Krishna conscious. And that's why our movement is like this. Prabhupada established our movement in such a way that to make everyone happy. Let everyone be happy. But how we can fulfill this is we have to preach. We have to tell. We have to introduce Krishna consciousness in every walks of life, in every social system, in everywhere. Even nowadays, we have devotees still continuing their book distribution, and they're becoming more and more successful because people are looking for alternatives how to mitigate their miseries and suffering. And if you tell them, oh, this is an ancient wisdom that one can fulfill one's desire to be ultimately happy. And our movement is like this. We're Gostianandi. But let's say some devotees, they just say, they just want to do bhajan. That means their self-interest is just going to a solitary place and perform their bhajan, their worship of the Lord. So that is okay also. That is fine. But those who are trying their very best to help others to become Krishna conscious, they are more dear to Lord Krishna. They don't want to see others suffering. What is that? Paradukha dukhi. They when they see others suffering, they also suffer. And the materialist is the opposite. When they see you are suffering, yeah, it's good for you. I should be the only one who should be happy. No, this is the materialist mentality. The devotee's mentality in the highest degree is like this. They cannot. Just like there is a story of one Prabhupada's disciples. He asked Prabhupada, this was in Vrindavan, so he asked Prabhupada if he can go to the Himalayas and just meditate and just perform his bhajan. And Prabhupada says, no, don't do that. Prabhupada says, I want to live Vrindavan, but not, if I'm Vrindavan, I'm not peaceful. Why? Because his main intention is to still spread Krishna consciousness. And even in the last days of Srila Prabhupada, he wanted to establish this Varnashram system. He wanted to go to in Port Royal, Pennsylvania, Gitanagari. He wanted to establish his mission, 50% of his mission, so that everyone can be engaged in every social class system, be engaged in Krishna consciousness, and that will make them completely happy. Be satisfied. So yes, there is a statement in the Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami, he quoted this, that in Kali Yuga, if one wants to attain pure devotional service, and if one wants to attain auspiciousness for the whole world, then one should spread the glories of the holy name. That is the secret of success in Kali Yuga. You want to become Krishna conscious? You want to remain Krishna conscious? You want to help others to become Krishna conscious? Preach. Tell about others. Tell others about Krishna. That is the solution in Kali Yuga. It's like you're getting the result of both. You become a pure devotee. That's the only way to become pure devotee in Kali Yuga. That is Jiva Goswami. Tell others about Krishna, and the more you tell about others Krishna, then the more you become Krishna conscious. The Bhagavatam also says like that. The speaker becomes more purified. The listeners becomes purified. But one who is more becoming purified? The listener. I mean the speaker. The speaker. So yes, one attains bhakti and auspiciousness of the whole entire world if one comes to this level. Prabhupada is in that level also. He mentions one time to one of his disciples, I have a desire to have the entire universe to be liberated. Not just this world, but the entire universe. And Prabhupada, one of his disciples asked him, is it true, Prabhupada, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he could have saved the entire world, the entire universe? And Prabhupada says, yes, he's in that caliber. But he did not do it. Then disciple asked them why Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not do it. Prabhupada says, well, he gave you something to do, so you'll get the credit. Right? So, the onus is on us right now. We can sit and perform our bhajan, but it is not as effective as if we tell others. And that's why devotees who are like in that level of mood, they are the most blissful. Even though Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, ayi, is that? Na danam, na janam, na sundarim, kabitamba jagadi sakamaye. I don't want any of this. I only want your pure devotional service, birth after birth. So we should come to that platform somehow. And by the process of this, we are having these meetings, and even though it's virtual, hopefully it'll help us to come to that vision that yes, let me try as much as I can. Just like that story of that spider. Is that a spider or yes, carrying a small pebble to help build the bridge? That is his capacity. So let him do it. That's fine. But then it is our effort and our sincerity towards pleasing the Supreme Lord that will give us ultimately the reward of pure bhakti. Hare Krishna. I would like to open now if you have any questions or comment. The whole purport is quite very important. We could have spent more time, but we just mentioned few. I would like to request, if it's possible, would like to see the beautiful lotus faces of the devotees in Ottawa and those who are attending today's meeting. Would you like to turn on your videos, even if you're doing puja or chanting your rounds while I'm giving class or anything?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Lochan, we haven't seen him for a long time. Kamala Lochan Prabhu. See, now I can see him. Hmm?
My businesses, Prabhu, Maharaja.
Please, if you have any comments or questions, you may raise your hand, and or Krishna Dulal Prabhu,
Yes, Maharaj.
if you're still there.
Yes.
Yes, you are still there. So you can monitor
Yes.
who wish to ask any question or make some points. It's
Yes.
very important topic today, the one that you chose.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. It was one wonderful
Hare
talk.
Krishna.
Thank you. So yes, please, dear devotees, you have on your chat, you have a feature
Yes.
where you can raise your hand.
Hold on. Let me put this on.
Okay.
Now I can hear you.
Yes. So devotees have a feature. We have a feature at the bottom of the chat where you could just click a button and raise your hand, and in order we could take questions or comments. And if you don't know how to do that, then feel free to. Well, you can raise your hand on the camera. I just got Surendra
It's
Prabhu.
very encouraging. 29 participants. That means quite a lot. Seriously.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have a
Okay.
question from Surendra Prabhu.
Mm-hmm.
Surendra Prabhu,
Krishna
go ahead.
Maharaj, very nice point is the non-envious versus envious. Even Bhagavad Gita talks about one quality quite often. Krishna addresses Arjuna as a non-envious quite a few times, which further emphasizes that this is a very important thing. So my question is it possible, or can we say that the disobedience give a birth to enviousness, or the seed of the enviousness starts from the disobedience in a subtle form, slowly, and then it takes a bigger shape? Is it possible to connect?
Disobedience means not accepting any superior authority. You want to become independent. And therefore, if you want to become independent, that means you don't care. And yes, you want to be followed. You don't want to become a follower. The whole world is like that ultimately. Rebellious. We are all rebellious. That's why we are still in this world. We become rebellious to the orders, instructions coming from the scriptures, coming from the Lord himself. And as I said earlier, envy is there. That's the ultimate cause why we're still here. The whole world is envious of each other. The more we are envious, then the more we prolong our stay in this world. So yes, you don't want to follow certain guidelines, certain procedure. That means you think that you know better than than the process, or you know better than the instruction coming from the higher authority. That means you're envious of their position. You wish you are in their position, and then maybe you don't have to follow anything. then you know, what's the use? It is really like very heavy anartha that we all have to work on. Ultimately, all of us has their own, each and everyone's anartha that we have to burn and we have to get rid of. Karma, we have to burn also, whether it's good or bad. And the only solution to all of this is to become Krishna conscious, fully Krishna conscious. Half-baked, it's okay, but then there is a tendency that one may prolong one's stay in the material world. That's why Rupa Goswami says, hope against hope. We should try to make sure that we go back home, back to Godhead as soon as possible. Prabhupada's mission is like there is an urgency for all of this. if you hear Srila Prabhupada's lecture, especially in the early days, it's like a young man, like urgent, urgent, has to be done today, now. Not that, after some time. Okay, so yes, envy means you see something from others that you don't have, or even if you have, but you want to have greater than others. Mm. And this is coming from the heart, that desire. That's why the message here is we have to kill that desire, but it cannot be killed. It can only, what Prabhupada says, you can only transform from lust into prema, lust into love, love of God. These are all degrees of lust. Okay?
Thank you very much, Maharaj. So we have the next question we have from Vraja. She has raised her hand.
Braja.
Vraja.
Where is Braja?
Hare Krishna.
Oh, yes. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for sharing your faith in the secret of success, which is to tell others about Krishna. And it's so nice to hear from devotees who have so much faith. And I was just thinking about this envy and how you were saying how devotees suffer when other people suffer, and how
Right.
other people do not suffer when we see someone else is suffering, and that's this envious tendency. And I was thinking, you know, how ironic it is, or how subtle it can even be, that you know, sometimes our gratitude is sparked when we see what a bad situation someone else is in, and how this can be gratitude, but there can be tinges of envy in it also. And so that was just a point for me to kind of think about a little bit more, check always motives. And, and then you were mentioning about, you know, we have to really do everything to please Krishna. So all of our thing is to offer to Krishna. And when you were talking like that, I have to be honest, and I was just thinking, oh, I'm not there at all in any way, shape, or form. And to even think like that, it kind of seemed like, I don't know, dull or unattainable. And so I wondered if you could just maybe expand on that a little bit more.
It is possible to attain that as long as you hang on to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. We on our own is not possible. As long as you hang on to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to the disciplic succession. As Rupa Goswami says, hope against hope, right? We will attain that level of pure bhakti, which, as the Acharya says, Prahlad Maharaj, he is the landmark. He is the milestone. His bhakti is like the initial stage of pure devotional service. So yes, first we have to kind of like be more introspective, try to check ourselves, our intentions for all the moves or thoughts that may come upon us. We have to check, am I doing this because for Krishna or for myself or for my family? Well, for them to become Krishna conscious, that's okay. But then if you're thinking of your family, how to increase their material desires, because it's very subtle. You want to please your family, but pleasing them and having them become closer to Krishna is another thing. If you're pleasing them so that they fulfill their material desires, they're going away, and you also become part of it. So that's not properly putting your right in the right perspective of your goal. Because yeah, we've seen families also in Krishna consciousness. They practice Krishna consciousness, but their goal is not to attain Krishna, to attain their material desires. They worship Krishna because this is part of the what you call the benefits. Both your material and spiritual benefit will be fulfilled. So for everything that we do, we have to just keep checking. Uh, is my mind focused on Krishna? My physical activities only to praise Krishna? Is my intelligence, I'm using my intelligence properly to please Krishna? So it's like you have a 3 checklist. All of them should be all aligned and in same target, same focal point. Huh? So in this way, eventually anarthas will be uprooted. We have to follow what the previous acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, disciplic succession, chalked us for us to do. Follow by the sadhana bhakti, as we mentioned earlier, is there's no shortcut to this unless you please. And there must be a reason how Krishna will give you all of these benedictions, all of these blessings. He doesn't give so easily bhakti. He can give easily opulence, material wealth, even your desire to merge into Brahman effulgence. But to attain bhakti is sudurlabha, is very rare, but it is attainable. See, for everything that we do, we always have to check our motive. And if Krishna is not the motive pleasing him, then we will not be happy, we will not be satisfied. And ultimately, actually, it'll just bring us back to the material world to take birth again. And like a Ferris wheel going back and forth, back and forth. So at least we should be grateful that we are on the right process. Just hang on there, keep going. Don't get diverted. And if you get diverted, come back again. Return, to the path again. And that's why it is good to have this association of devotees. I've never seen so many participants like this, a variety of devotees from all walks of life, like white skin, or not just from India, but Canadians. If you're Canadians, maybe you're Russians, I don't know. It's good also. I was in Russia for 7 months last year, lockdown. But all of us have the same enemies that we have to fight. Others in different degrees than others at lesser degree than others, but the same story. Your heart has to be like a proper place where Krishna will sit on the throne of your heart. Chant, chant, chant. That is the solution, as we mentioned. Chant, 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 and tell others also, chant, chant, chant. That's the way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Maharaj.
Anything else?
Do we have time for one more question, Maharaj?
2 more. It's okay for me.
Okay.
Even though I have another class after 3 hours.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, Maharaj, we have one devotee here. Has a question here from the temple. Go ahead. This is Ilya Prabhu.
From Ukraine.
From Ukraine, yes.
Oh, there you go.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class, and talking about spreading the Krishna consciousness during this pandemic time. Maybe you could share some examples how devotees are doing this all over the world in different temples, yatras, cities, we heard a couple of examples. Some devotees doing like call parties. They are distributing books on the phone. Maybe you could share
yeah.
other ways for us to be engaged.
You have a like a checklist also in your database. Ottawa Temple. You can contact them, ask them to subsidize the book distribution. You can ask them for that sponsorship. Many books can be distributed. It's like in I don't know if you have Motel Gita or something. Of course, most of them are closed right now. Um, you give Bhagavad Gita in the hospitals also, because you know they like reading there. Or wherever people will have time to read. Um, I know in some places like New York, devotees they're so brave. They're still distributing books and they're giving so many books every day to many people, newcomers. Yes, you can advertise in your website also. You know, transcendental, or even in the marketplace. Every Facebook area they have they have this marketplace. Why not sell Bhagavad Gita there also? A book that will solve all your problems. We have to tax our brain how to do this. Unfortunately, Canada right now and US is like very risky to do it openly. So we can do it. Have all you need is just like the interest and your determination to do it, and Krishna will give you all the intelligence for you to do. It is possible. We have devotees in the Philippines, and he's distributing books online. Of course, he's giving it for free, or just they just pay for the payment, the shipment. But it can be done here also. Advertise. Like I have one devotee here also. He's ready to give free books. Uh, just pay for the shipment. Or something like that. Maybe shipment can be included also just to encourage them. But Prabhupada says don't give free books also though, because they will not value it. Our books are the most, they're priceless. Hmm? So they have to have that interest in them. We used to distribute books with Kamala Lochan Prabhu there. I remember a few years ago in Toronto. So yeah, you can have that, and hopefully it'll ease up a little bit. You know, the next few months, and who knows, it may not ease up. It may become more serious. So we should find ways how to distribute books. You can distribute. You can get book distribution. Send them to India also. Can be distributed there. Could be distributed in some other poor countries. It's possible. Not just in your locale, anywhere. Hmm? Is that okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, thank you. So
Mother Lakshmi Moni, Hare Krishna. Is she still around?
I think she's off now. No, she took off.
Okay. Okay. No problem. No problem. So anything else?
Any other questions, devotees?
Any other comments?
I had one comment, Maharaj. I was just,
Yes.
you were speaking about, I guess, let all envious people be pacified, and about satisfaction for a devotee. And sometimes when you hear the word satisfaction, from a material standpoint, to be satisfied means that your stomach is full, you're sitting on your couch and you're
Yeah.
satisfied. You're just, sitting there, and then that's satisfaction. But I guess in a spiritual sense, when we talk about satisfaction,
That is temporary satisfaction.
Yeah.
Material happiness is temporary satisfaction. If satisfaction is temporary, you are not satisfied. you will try to get more and more of it, and it cannot be fulfilled. Unlike in bhakti, it's increasing. Hmm? It's eternal and it's always increasing. Therefore, you become satisfied because you're just going to be given more and more and more and more. Material things, there's always an end. Spiritual, it's eternal.
Yes, Maharaj.
Material, it's temporary and it has an end. So you cannot be satisfied. The soul is eternal. So how can it be satisfied with temporary things? Even helping the poor or social welfare activities. It cannot be. It's not possible. Hmm?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
So
So
only in bhakti.
yes. So I
Mm-mm.
guess the satisfaction for her devotees is the more they preach to others, the more they give Krishna, the more satisfaction
Yeah,
come, as you were saying. Yes, Maharaj.
definitely. You will get the highest satisfaction when you tell others about Krishna, when you preach. You can get satisfaction by not telling others, by just practicing bhakti, but you will eventually become not satisfied because it's like, let's just say you, and especially Kali Yuga, you go to the Himalayas, practice bhakti yoga there, it's fine. that, that is possible, but you'll be lonely after some time. Very rare that you will last only by yourself, that you will not need any company. Was that? There is
Thank
a
you very
saying,
much.
but what they're saying, company, misery loves company. Uh, so similarly, happiness loves company, right?
Yes.
But especially with devotees, we need association of devotees from the beginning till the end and after. I mean, till the end. There's no end. That means on and on and on. So yes, the more you preach, the more you'll be happy and satisfied. And this is the only way how everything will become auspicious. Just like Prahlad Maharaj prayer. Let there'll be auspiciousness. Hmm? Let be auspiciousness in this world. Badram. Imagine that. What? Four types. Um, so we have to somehow come to that platform. Swasti, Prasidatam, Shibam, and Badram. All of this will be accomplished. Materially, it's like pie in the sky or flower. Was that flower in the sky or something? Or horse flying in the sky? No, it's not gonna happen. It's phantasmagoria. Okay.
Thank you
How
so much.
about
Thank you. So we're very fortunate and happy that you are once again able to join us, Maharaj. Thank you so much. We hope that we see you again, sometime in
well,
the future. And I guess now we have a couple of minutes. It's nearing the end of our program. If devotees, you want to say a quick Haribol to Maharaj before we depart, and pranams, and we're going to keep the
Bancha,
Vancha Kalpatarubhyasa Kripa Sindhu.
Trubhischa, Kipasindevacha, Patitanam, Pavanevyo, Vaishnavevyo, Namo Namaha.
Thank you.
Anand Sakoti Vaishnavindaki Jai. Hari Hari. Offer
Hari.
my dandavats to Sisi Gornitai. Yes, now we're having darshan.
Yes.
Sisi Gornitai.
So Darshan is here. So please take the opportunity, devotees, to say some last minute prayers to the deity, offer some prayers. And then we will see everyone again next week. We'll have the good fortune of having His Holiness Bhakti Marg Maharaj joining us next week for a class. And same time as always, 5 o'clock. And we're wishing everybody a wonderful week.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to everybody. See you again. Happy Ekadasi. Haribol.